Hello again. Welcome, my creative friends. We are here with day 2 with Kristi Odom. My name is Francisco Paco Siller, and I'll be your host for this next segment. So before we get into it, as always, let me just shout out a few things. First of all, make sure you check out the new set of Photoshop Daily Creative Challenges. Those are going on with Kathleen Martin. She was just on right before us, rocking it. Always a pleasure having her do some DCC magic. And today we will be doing an artist spotlight. So if you want to nominate somebody for the next artist spotlight, they usually happen on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Look on the chat window right above it. It says artist spotlight. Click on that, nominate it, and we'll have some people to pick for the next iteration of this, which will be next week. And of course, if you are on YouTube, join us over on b.net/Adobe Live. That is where the conversation is taking place. And we are reading the chat there and seeing what's going on over there. So speaking of the chat, let's see who we got. We got Bruce, we got Fairy, we got General Kenobi, hello there. We got Annika, we got Clever, Norsh, so many people. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure having you all here. And again, we have Kristi for the next 2 hours, so this is going to be a safe place to learn anything about video editing or photography. So if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask us, because I will be watching the chat and relaying it to Kristi. All right, so without further ado, Kristi, enough chat on my end. What's going on? Tell us who you are, what we have in store for today, and everything and anything that's going on for the next 2 hours.
Well, hi, I'm Kristi. Really excited to be here today. I am a wildlife photographer and filmmaker based out of Longmont, Colorado. And today we're going to just get creative and play a lot. So,
I love creativity and play. Two good things.
I think it's really funny because my path is kind of keep turning, and I sometimes just like to look for those doors that are open. And I ended up coming up with some really exciting things that I can't wait to play with in front of all you guys today.
Fun. Cool. I'm going to hop over to your screen in like 2 seconds, but can you have up maybe a portfolio or website up? Just show a little bit of your work so people...
Oh, yeah, let me move that over.
People get an idea of the type of photography that you do, and it's very, very cool. I have worked with Kristi before. We've been on a live stream. Actually, when we started remote productions, and her work is just super, super cool. So, boom, there it is.
So this is my website. It's at kristiodomfineart.com. And my job and my mission has always been to connect people emotionally to wildlife and to show that animals have emotions and characters and personalities. I want people to love the natural world as much as I do. I think it's great being an artist because it gives us this opportunity to share our passions. And my passion happens to be massively rooted in nature and wildlife. So love for you guys to email, join my website. There's a place where you can put your email in, and I will send out lots of information. Also, I've got an Instagram page just at Kristi Odom. I would love for you guys to follow and share some of your work, especially if anything today resonates. I would love to see what you guys are up to as well.
Yes, give Kristi a follow on that Instagram. She's got so much cool stuff uploading there. And you get to see the time lapses that we get to work on. I think that's a new endeavor that you've been doing, and she's already a pro at it. So very cool to see where your journey takes you.
I've been having so much fun with the time lapses. And today I'm going to talk about pushing those time lapses and what to do with the files, and kind of really just using Premiere and Photoshop to bring out more and more creativity.
I love it. Cool. Well, let's get into it. What are we firing up first? Photoshop or Premiere?
We're going to go into Photoshop first, if that's all right.
Let's do it. It's your show.
Wonderful. Well, at first, when I had all these photos of flowers, the very first thing I started doing with time lapse was florals. I started thinking, well, what if I wanted to show movement in a still image? What if I wanted to take all those files that I had used in the time lapse, and I got curious to see what would happen if I stacked the images, because I wanted to show that the flowers I was using, they kept dancing, they kept opening and closing. And I wanted a still image that showed that dance and showed what I was feeling. It's very important as an artist, whenever you're creating work, to ask yourself how you're feeling and see if you can put that emotion into your work. And for me, when I saw the flowers, I was just really taken away by how lively they were. So this is one of the pieces I'm going to show you guys. This piece I made. I can show you the final output first, if that's all right. So here is one of the shots that I made of this anemone opening. And I'll show you guys how I did that with my time-lapse files.
How do you say that again?
That's a really hard word to say. I think I'm saying it right. Anemone.
I think you are. I just always think of Finding Nemo when the little fish is trying to say it, and I just can never say it after watching it.
Well, I think that
anemone.
I think that one's pronounced a little differently, and I have a little bit of trouble with some like pronunciation, so I'm probably wrong. But
I think you're right. I'm probably wrong.
I'm not sure. But anyways, this flower is amazing. And if you buy this flower fresh from a farmer's market or from a flower farm, you will see like every day and night they open and close and open and close. And so I was able to re-photograph it many times. And whenever I'm doing time lapse, I say the word time lapse, but I actually do what's called interval timer shooting, where I put my camera on an interval. So it takes a frame every so often. For the flowers, I usually do every 30 seconds or 45 seconds. So I'm collecting a whole series of files. And with those files, I love being able to see if I can push that even more and create something different. Now I've got the time lapses, but I really like my passion has always been in the still image, and video has been a new path for me, but I still love that still image. So I'm going to show you guys how I made this. We're going to do it.
And when you do that, we do have some questions already coming in. Well, first of all, people are shouting out and very excited for this stream. Hey, Kristi, you rock. Looking forward to more mushrooms.
Nice.
Sean is saying that he watched that video 5 times already, the mushroom time-lapse one.
Oh my goodness. Well, I can't wait to share the mushroom time lapse we're going to do today, because
we got a new one too.
It goes a little what's the word to describe it? A little crazy. You saw it, right?
Yeah, the one where, well, I won't give it away, but yes,
okay.
it's a little more creative than the last one in a very, very cool way.
So if you stick
before
around,
you get to it, I do want to ask Helen's question.
Okay.
So Helen is asking, Kristi mentioned yesterday about expanding the directional lighting in her macro work from the ring light. What other lighting is she considering using? So I guess what other lighting do you use besides that ring light?
Goodness. Well, I'm really inspired by the ice light, so I'm kind of looking for something like that. So if you look online at the ice light, it kind of looks like a lightsaber.
Ice light. Sounds like a lightsaber.
But it has this great ability to have this kind of a strip of light that can be used a little bit better directionally. And honestly, I'm one of those artists that I like kind of playing with what I have around the house at first before I like really want to push things. So you can see these little thumbnails. This is all done with that little ring light, but I want something that pushes just a single direction a little bit better for my mushrooms. So I'm looking at expanding, and I need to go. And one of the things I will say, support your local camera stores. I will go to one of my local camera stores, and I need to have a big lighting conversation with them and see if they can help me get pointed in the right direction for lights for this.
Very cool.
So that's my plan.
Right on.
I'm not sure yet, but if anybody has a favorite light that they use, it's a static light source, throw it in the chat room, because I would love those suggestions too. But yeah, so excited about that.
Cool.
Okay, so first, we're going to talk about one of the things I love about Photoshop is I love the fact that I can work with multiple images on the same layer. And so being able to stack different time lapses, and this is something that I've used in the past. I've done time lapses of street scenes or famous scenes, or, like Arches National Park. And then when I stack a whole bunch of files from a time lapse, it actually sometimes gets rid of all the people. It's like a beautiful thing that I've been using in landscape photography to show really long exposures of sky.
I think you showed us that.
I did.
The first stream. Yeah, check that out. The first time Kristi went with us, I think it was day 2 towards the end. Very cool trick.
So I like using that. And then I started thinking, well, I've been using this for landscapes for a while, but why not use it for florals? So I'm going to go through the steps of how I do that. And so I've got all of these photos. I've got about 300 or 100 and however many photos of this anemone opening. And I'm going to show you guys how I stacked them. So you go to File, Scripts, load file into stack. Now here, when you get this box that says load layers, I need to go to the browse button and find those images. I put them in a folder called Adobe Day 2. My lesson number 1 is on the anemone, if I've spelled that correctly. Now, I experimented around with this a lot, but I found that 20 files were about the amount of motion I wanted here. And as you can see in this first frame, you might not be able to see it too well, it's really small, but this is my time lapse and the flower opens really big and beautiful. So I'm going to take this first file and I'm literally going to just stack the first 20 images because I want to do that sequence. Like you saw that there were 3 images stacked on top of each other. I want to do basically a triptych of different periods of the flower opening. So I'm going to select this first file and then I'm going to select 20 images by hitting the shift button and then clicking again. So 5, 10, 15, 20. So I'm going to go to file number 1339, hit the OK button. And when then this comes up, I want this to become a smart object. So what a smart object is it puts everything together as one object. So all of those 20 files are now going to be one file, one layer. It's like one layer with a bunch of layers. I don't know how to describe that, but
it sounds smart.
Oh my goodness, right? So I'm going to click that and hit OK. Now I've made these files pretty small just for the sake of, oh goodness, hang on, let me just, it did this again.
Oh, is it trying to load all of them now?
Sometimes it glitches on me, but I'm going to do that one more time. But I'm not running Zoom. This runs a lot smoother. So we're going to do the 20 and I'm going to change up one little thing now. And then I'm going to hit OK. I'm not going to create the smart object. I'm going to do that later just so it's got fewer steps. All right. Open all my layers. Oh, see, sometimes it just opens the 2.
Rick Adams says smart object stack mode. Is that a thing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm going to close out of Photoshop and I'm going to do this again. A little glitch here. I apologize for that.
No worries. In the meantime, why don't we have everybody in the chat let us know where you're tuning in from? I always ask this question. I love seeing where everybody's coming in from. So let us know where you are coming in from. I am in California right now. Kristi is in Colorado. Both have states that have mountains. We are mountain folks at heart.
Yes. Love it.
So.
All right. I'm going to switch to 15.
All right. So round 2.
Yeah.
We got Ferry from Indonesia. All right. Bruce from New York. Hello. Ferry, thank you for joining us. Ferry's he's an Adobe Live regular, and we always love to see him in the chat. So thank you for joining us, my friend. We got Portland, Oregon, Scotland, South Dakota, North Carolina, near Mount Baker in Washington. Very cool. I haven't been to Mount Baker, but I am intrigued now. Istanbul, Connecticut, California, New Zealand, Long Island, SF Bay Area. Wow. Suzanne, we're in the SF Bay Area. I used to live in San Francisco. Israel, Virginia, Mumbai, India. Oh, I love it. People from all over the world.
Nice. Well, welcome.
So
Thank
good.
you guys all for being here. I so appreciate it.
Very, very cool.
So it did it.
Right.
It opened them all.
Yay.
And as you can see the layers here, and the layers got this little tiny icon on the bottom right indicating that there are more images to this layer. So there's a whole bunch of images stacked together as one smart object, right? So now we're going to go to layer smart object. And this is my favorite stack mode. So under layer smart object stack mode, mean puts them all together and blends them beautifully.
Whoa.
So as you can see the movement in the flower now opening. So I took this, I used my crop tool, which is over here on the left. I cropped down, pretty small here. All right, and now I really didn't like this green stem, so I did a simple dodge and burn to burn it out. I like using light, I like the burn tool. And so before I get to do that though, I want to flatten that layer because this smart object has so many different images in that one layer. So I go to flatten image and it flattens it all to one layer. And now I'm just simply gonna burn out this green here. And this is really nice because my background is black. So it's, you know, let's just take this all to black. Right, you can do this cleaner. I'm doing it quick just for the sake of we have so much stuff to go through today. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to change my layers.
So much content.
We got a lot of content.
We got a lot of content.
To Control L because I want to pull up my levels. And I'm just going to make that black a little blacker in the background. So I've got no information. Nice. Just kind of tweak it a little bit. All right, there we go. That's the first one. So now we're going to do that again. And we're going to go to File, Scripts, Load File into Stack. I'm going to do Browse. And we're going to go for 15 more files. I moved it down to 15 instead of 20 because, yeah, I wanted to. Then do Create Smart Object, right? Now, let's see how well, yep, there's all the layers loading.
It likes 15. 15 is the magic number.
15 is the magic number today. Then we're going to go again to that Layer, Smart Object, Stack Mode, Mean. I'm going to do the same thing I did, but this is a different phase of the flower opening because I went down a little bit with the files that I selected. Played here and here and here. Right, and now I'm going to go to Layer, Flatten Image. I'm going to burn out the bottom of this again. Oh.
Very cool. And I do have a question. Where'd it go? Holly is asking, do you clamp your flowers somehow and use a tripod? So I guess how are you keeping the flowers up?
I usually use what's called a flower frog, which doesn't look like a frog at all. It's actually like this little spiky thing that's phenomenal. But on this one, I didn't. And this one, it kind of danced around a lot, as you'll see, because this is one of the, I'll show you guys the time lapse of this. So it did rotate. I had a really thin base to kind of keep it up nice and steady. But flower frogs are the key to those, like to getting things to stay still when we're photographing them. So now we're going to go and grab another 15. We're going to go a little further down where the flower's opening a little bit more. So I'm going to do 5, 10, 15. There we go. All right, load 5. So I'm just doing the same thing I've done before. Create Smart Object. I'm going to do this pretty fast. Are you okay, buddy? Okay,
so our furry friend having some issues?
Yeah, I got an old dog, a 13-year-old dog, and she's coughing underneath me. You know that horrible cough sound. You're like, oh no, are you okay?
If you need to address it, let me know. I can always put it on standby. Our furry friends come first.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Well, I'm just going to show you with these two real quick. So you do this a third time, the thing that we've just done twice, but we're going to go ahead and just do that with 2 images. So here I'm going to take this image and I want to extend that canvas so that I can combine these two and make a diptych. So I'm going to take this and all I do is image canvas size. And one of the things I love is I love being able to move this to %. So I just want this to be twice as tall as it is right now. So I want this height to be 100% taller. This is the bigger flower. So I want the anchor point to be on the bottom. So I'm going to click where I want this image to be, which is right here. I want the canvas extension to be black. And then I hit OK. Right now I just literally take this file by selecting all, and you can do that by going to select all or Control A, and then you go to copy. I use the shortcut Control C, or you can go that way. And then I go on this canvas and then I paste. You can do edit Control V, and then I move it up. So I've done this 3 times for that final image, but here it is twice.
Nice.
Flatten that, and then I had what I loved, which was a picture of a flower opening at 3 different phases, so you could see that movement. Very
cool.
Kind of fun, right?
Very original.
It was.
Can't say I've seen this.
It was kind of a fun thing to play with, and it was really easy to kind of put together. I did downsize all the files just here, so these are really small files that I'm working with now. But when I did the final product, I used bigger files, and I have this image that could go wall size, which is pretty fun. So,
all right, question from the chat real quick, Kristi.
Yes.
Fairy's asking, do you use the exact same shutter speed for every shot, or do you change it for some conditions?
Good question. When I'm doing time lapse, I keep everything super consistent. So same shutter speed, same aperture, same white balance, same ISO. I keep everything the same so that there's no glitching in my time lapses. So cool. Always the same.
Always the same. And then Rick is asking, and I guess we'll find out. We'll see. I'm curious to know how you align these flattened images when the crop is not the same and the burn is dissimilar.
Oh, great question. There's actually an auto align feature as well, which that was the
Boom.
other box that you can click. So when I'm doing my time lapses with nature, a lot of times I'm clicking that auto align button, and that is in this. So scripts, load file into stacks, browse. So say I'm just showing you where it is. Attempt to automatically align source images. So clicking that will automatically align. These are so abstract, and because it's a time lapse that it doesn't really have things to align, but if you have something that's similar, a lot of times I use that auto align if I'm hand holding, which I shouldn't be. And then I'm trying to do a stack on something I'm hand holding and it'll auto align, which is really, really cool.
Very cool. All right, right on. Let's keep on keeping on.
All right. Now, another thing that I started falling in love with in Photoshop is a lot of times, like, people laugh at me because I fall in love with simple things. It's like, I mean, anyone that saw my last stream, I'm all about dodging and burning, but dodging and burning to like an extreme level, like along a Fibonacci spiral or something like that. And that stream's still online if you guys ever want to see it. Just look for my name under Adobe Live. But another thing that I have fallen in love with is playing with reflections. So I'm always trying to enhance that narrative. And I remember when I went out to photograph sunflowers. And when I went to photograph these sunflowers, what I saw and what I was experiencing was this crazy pattern in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah.
And so what I wanted to emphasize that pattern by making it a little bit more surreal, by kind of enhancing it. Because patterns, I love repeating patterns. Like when patterns are repeated, like you can it emphasizes and celebrates them in such a beautiful way. So I tried to line this up to photograph a quarter of the sunflower. When I went out, you can see I didn't light it up as well as I could because I wanted to make sure everything was super sharp. So I knew I was going to take this into post and play with reflections. So this is exactly what I did in order to kind of play with this flower and create something that I like. I went in and I selected this crop tool and I went ahead and cropped it exactly on the quarter. Okay. So I want to make sure I get it exactly in the corner as much as I can here. Don't really need, I've got a little extra information on the left-hand side. So I'm going to crop that out too. How close am I? Am I right at the quarter? All right.
Looks, yeah, I'd say
Looks
so.
good. Maybe
you could go down just a little bit to more, yeah, then to the right, just a tiny bit.
All right, there it is.
That's on the money.
That's on the money. So I'm going to double click that so it keeps that crop. All right, now I'm going to select all, do that by Control A, and then I'm going to copy all, edit copy, because I want to keep this on my clipboard for what I'm doing next. So now I'm going to go into my image and play with this canvas size. I'm going to do what I was doing before with the percent, because I want this to be the upper left corner and I want to reflect this 3 times to really play with that pattern. So I'm going to do relative 100% on the width, 100% on the height. I want this quarter sunflower to be here. So I click that as the anchor point and then I hit OK, right? I'm hitting Control 0 to make it the right size, Control- to make it a little, zoom out just a little bit on my window so that I can see my whole canvas here. Now, since I've got that in my clipboard, all I have to do is go to Edit Paste. And I've got this little quarter of a sunflower that I've copied before. Now going to Edit Transform, I can flip this over the horizon. You want to go to Edit Transform and not Layer Flip because you want to edit this specific layer. And so that'll just edit this part. I'm sorry, you want to go to Edit Transform instead of Image Rotation, because Image Rotation rotates the whole image, but you don't want to do that. You just want to rotate that one layer and you do that under Edit. That's gotten me caught up before. And then I just move it to that quarter there.
Check that out.
Right. And now since I have this in my clipboard, all I have to do is Control Paste, which I'm going to do the short key Control V for this. And then I'm going to go to Edit Transform, and I'm going to flip over the vertical. You can see what I'm getting at. I'm going to paste one more time.
Perfectly symmetrical. Oh yeah.
Control V, edit, transform. This one I have to flip over the horizon, and I have to flip it over the vertical. Okay. So I came up with that, which I
super cool.
Thought was awesome. I love. My friend challenged me to make it into a puzzle. I did, and I still haven't solved this puzzle. It was a hard puzzle.
I don't know about you, Kristi, but I never knew the center of sunflowers can look so menacing.
Right?
Like the mouth of some sort of kraken or one of the likes. Very, very beautifully menacing, I'd say.
It draws you in, but this is...
It really does draw you in. You're right.
It's kind of just... It's funny because I feel like I went on this strange path of copying and reflecting and, you know, playing with patterns and repetition of patterns. My background is I used to be on math team. I used to compete in mathematics tournaments. And I have this absolute love for numbers and, you know, Fibonacci sequences and, you know, different patterns.
Yeah, I remember.
And so
we went over that on the first show too.
So this is something that's been coming out more and more in my work. But with flowers, I've been loving playing with reflections. And so I want to show you, oh, and of course you've got all these 5 layers, you got 4 layers here. So before you do anything, you want to flatten this image and then you've got it all on one layer and then you can save it and do whatever you want. But it's been fun because I've been playing with different reflections. And I'm going to show you where I've done this a few other times if you guys are all right with that.
Yeah, let's do it. Rick Adams says, cool way to make a full flower if you only have one part of it. Nice technique.
Exactly. Oh,
I can't wait to see what we do here. There's a lot of cool texture going on.
Yeah, so I think this was a tree that might have had some lightning damage or something, but I was obsessed with this texture and the color and the bark. So I started playing with this tree, doing the same thing, selecting all, Control A, copying, Control C, which you can use Command A, Command C if you're on a Mac. And then you go through image canvas size, do the same thing with the percent 100 width. I want this to be here. So I'm gonna get okay. And now I hit Control V and then edit, transform, flip over the horizon. And then I'm gonna move that to this corner. And this is when I just like, I remember liking to play with those, what were those toys that we played with as a kid where you splatter paint and things just kind of went chaotic. Like for me, this was just something that I don't know. I love just seeing what I come up with. And if I have that time on the computer, like taking natural things and repeating them to kind of see what comes out of them. It's been a lot of fun.
Kristi, you and I are alike in more ways than one. I do the exact same thing for some of the time lapses I do. I love adding, I'll do it on After Effects, but I do the reflection effect. And then with landscapes like stars and mountains, when they're just mirroring each other and we have the same interests for sure. It's very cool stuff to play around with.
I love it. That's awesome. I can't wait to see those. You'll have to definitely share those with me.
Yeah, I can share it if we have time.
That would be great. The cool thing about this too is like little things make such a difference. Like opening this canvas and instead doing image canvas size. Now I've already got this on the clipboard. Otherwise you'd Control A, Control C again. But say I do the width and then I put this on the other side. Oh, sugar. Sorry.
Oh, sugar. I've been teasing Kristi because she, instead of cursing, she'll say, oh, sugar. And I'm like, I'm going to start saying that from now on. I love that. We have Jennifer Hood in the house. What's up, Jennifer Hood? Jen and Amy Hood are twins and amazing graphic designers that have been on our shows quite a few times. So everybody say hi to Jennifer Hood. What's up?
Hi. I'd love to see your work too.
Yeah, they've been on our show. They are.
Oh my
Baby
gosh.
Live All-Star, so very cool. Thanks for joining us. And she says, it reminds me of the opening title sequence for Dark. You are very right. Very right.
But do you guys see how different this is? Like having the same thing, but on the other side?
Yeah, did you flip it on the other side? Is that the different pattern you got?
I did. Yeah. So it had the bark in the middle, and you can do all sorts of things with this, like image canvas size, and then do 100 on the height. And, you know, just experiment, not pixels percent. That's what I did wrong last time. Oh, I did it again, didn't I? I was talking about doing it wrong. And then you don't want pixels, you want percent, 100.
Percent.
There we go. So,
awesome. Oh, then you can flip this. Okay.
yeah.
I see what's going on.
I mean, I could have copied the whole thing if I had flattened it, but yeah. So it's just fun. It's fun to play with, right?
Very fun.
Edit, transform. I got to finish this one. Over the horizon, over the vertical. Here we go. So it's just, yeah, playing with patterns, all that good stuff. But here's where I kind of started playing even a little bit more. I'm not going to save that. Was here. So I took this picture that I loved where it's like this stick wrapped around a leaf and caught it in its fall. And I loved this image.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. How does that even happen?
I'm not quite sure.
Like if it's falling, it just comes to life. Just grabs it.
It
Very
probably
cool
was, it was just kind of a fun little, I love looking for these little things and little sticks. And then I took this and instead of wanting to expand that canvas, I wanted to kind of see what happened when I started reflecting things inside this canvas. So I'm going to do the same thing, Control A, Control C. And now I'm going to go ahead and paste it, Control V. So I've got 2 layers here. You could have just, I guess, Control J that. Is that right? Control J is the duplicate layer. Is it? What's the shortcut on that?
I think so.
Okay.
Not too familiar with Photoshop shortcuts, but if anybody in the chat, and I'm sure they do, let us know what the shortcut for duplicating a layer on Photoshop is.
All right, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, and I'm going to flip it over the horizon. Now I'm going to start playing with opacity and see what happens by stacking opaque layers on top of each other. And this is something that I have just had way too much fun with. But the cool thing about this too is the more you move different shapes, the different shapes and designs come out. So I will kind of select this layer and start playing with it to kind of see if there's a shape that I like or something that I want, which I actually kind of like it right in here because I love this shape and I love this space between. Does this look good to you guys?
Yeah. I
right.
mean, there's many ways you can do it. Like I like when the top circles were first joining, but I do like how they are joined. Yeah, like no before. Yeah, kind of that little circle that it made, and then if you bring it in. But I like how the leaves at the bottom kind of start touching when those like little parabolas start joining. So yeah, I mean, like you said, many ways to do it.
Let's do it like this. I like that.
Cool. And it is Command J, by the way. The chat has confirmed.
Okay. Nice.
Command J for Mac, Control J for Windows.
Cool. Thank you. So now I'm going to go into crop and I'm going to crop out this little part here. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flatten this layer. All right. So now I want to take this. I'm going to copy the whole Control A, Control C again, and Control V. And now I've got 2 of this layer and I'm going to take this layer and I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, flip over the vertical. I'm do the same thing with the opacity at 50%. Right? Whoa. You see this new shape coming out, which is kind of
so
fun.
Cool.
And you can play with it and
very kaleidoscopy just by like 2 clicks.
Oh, I like right there where there's that beautiful space between.
So I feel like we're so drawn to symmetry. I mean, this is I love this stuff. I play around with a lot of this stuff too, and this is just super cool. And Holly actually seconds this. They're saying, "You're my new hero. I take photos of similar things, but was at a loss on what to do with them." So.
Oh my gosh, I would love to see if any of you guys start doing this. Please share them with me because I am obsessed with these nature patterns. I'm having so much fun. You got your
Instagram? Is that a good place to share them?
Yes, share them on Instagram for sure.
Yeah, very cool.
So I just cropped a little bit off the top. And now I'm going to go back to that layer flatten image. And one of the things about the opacity is I've lost a little bit of that punch. So I'm going to hit Control L, or you can hit Command L to get this levels. And I'm going to pull my blacks back in. I'm going to pull some whites back in and just play with the contrast a little bit to, yeah. There you go. Kind of fun, right?
Super cool.
It's funny because me playing with this before with my reflections, I ended up coming up with something that was quite different.
Oh. So this reminds me of True Detective, the Carcosa. You ever watch that? Like the weird like stick structures that are all congruent. Yeah. Oh, your work is so cool. I feel like there's so many ways to interpret it.
Here's another one that I did. So I started with this. This was a great shape in the stem that I found. Once again, plants interacting with one another. So I took this, I played with reflections, and then I played with opacity and duplicating. Kind of cool, kind of weird. So that was another one that I did. And then we're going to work on this one. I want to show you one more of these, if that's all right. Can I show one more?
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, when you pull that up, we do have a question relating to the Nikon world.
I want to save this one. Yes.
All right. Rick is asking, would Kristi have any info about the new Nikon Pro mirrorless?
Oy, I wish. All I know is everyone I know that's touched it oh my gosh, it's going to be a game changer, but that's all I know.
Is it a new one coming out? Is it the new flagship, I assume?
There's a new Z9 coming out. It's on its way, and I've heard amazing things. I'm going to save this one because I like what we've just made. I do want to keep this.
That is very cool. I like that one.
I do too. So now I'm going to play with this one. So this was this weird stick. I don't know what was going on here, but this is gorgeous, right? Like this nature is so gorgeous.
How do you find this when I'm that's what I want to know. Like if I were to run into you in the trail, are you just like looking for these little things? Like you got an eye for it, 100%. You got the macro eye for it.
Oh my goodness. It was really funny. I was out photographing with one of my friends that day, and we both took the same shot at different times. So it's kind of
it's a known little stick then.
This little stick was right by the parking lot, and it was just like it had this fish hook. And I do spend a lot of time in the woods, like a lot of times, and I do spend a lot of time looking for bugs in the woods. So maybe I'm looking in the trees a little bit more, looking at the sticks.
Yeah, it's so funny. You look at things at the macro level, and I look at things in like the wide level because I just want giant mounds. And I mean, there's beauty in art in all scopes of lenses and different versions of it. So, I'm just mesmerized by this because this is the total opposite of what I photograph, but it's so fun.
It's been such a great journey because I love that macro lets us slow down and really focus in on the little things that can be so
it's the little things in life.
Yes, like this stick.
Like this stick.
That I'm gonna
teach
edit
us a
live.
lot.
All right, so I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna kind of just play with this pattern because this pattern is really cool here. Kind of want to put it in the middle of my canvas, right? So this one I'm gonna play with reflections as well as changing that canvas as well as opacity. So I'm going to do everything I just talked about all in one image. So I'm going to do my Control A, Control C, Control V. And then I'm going to go to edit. And let me know if I'm going too fast now. Am I going too fast?
I don't think so. I'm easily able to follow along.
Okay.
Chat, let us know. Is this a good pace? A little too slow, a little too fast, just perfect?
So I went over here, selected the layer and changed the opacity. And here's where I this one was fun to play with because it felt so different at every single different spot. Do you see this pattern that came up? This is a really cool pattern. Actually, I don't know if I saw that before. The pattern I ended up playing with was this right here because I love that it looked almost like two swans.
Almost looks like a swan. I was about to say the exact same thing.
Yeah. So I kind of played with this here. I went to my crop and I cropped down just like this, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flatten this layer because I want to work with this now. I like this. And now I'm going to do my Control A, Control C because I want to keep this canvas and I want to see what happens when I reflect this. And then I went to image canvas size. I got to change it to percent. It says percent, right? I don't know why I always mess that up and do pixels because 100 pixels is not much. I put my anchor point here and then I'm going to hit OK. And there we go. Now I'm going to hit Control V. And I'm going to take this and then I'm going to go to edit, transform. I'm going to flip it over the horizon and I'm going to combine those like that. Kind of a cool little shape, right?
Super cool.
So I'm going to flatten this layer again. And I'm going to take this and I want to take this really cool, interesting spot right here. So I'm just going to select it with this rectangular selection tool. And of course, I'm not selecting it well right now. Okay. Now I'm going to take that spot. I'm going to copy it, Control C. And I'm going to paste it, Control V. And then I started just kind of playing with this pattern in different ways. kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
I'm taking this and then hitting Control T to transform this. I can rotate these and make sorts of bars at the end.
You got a natural pattern now.
Right. So I love like making my own patterns and making my own, just designs and letting nature be my inspiration.
This would be the cruelest puzzle if you made a puzzle out of this one.
Don't challenge me. So I'm gonna do that. And I'm a little obsessive, like I have a little OCD. So if I have a puzzle on my counter, I like don't leave my house for 3 days. If you want to like get me stuck in one spot, just put a puzzle that's unsolved in that spot, and I just go and I spend a little too much time. Noted.
You're gonna hope you didn't tell me that on air. We do have some questions in the chat. You want to stop for a second and answer some?
Yes, I would love that.
All right, so we got one from Val. Kristi, what's it like being a Nikon ambassador?
It is one of the biggest honors of my life. It's just, I believe so much in Nikon. Everyone that I know that's with Nikon believes in the power of photography to make change. And I think that when we're with creatives that support and build you up, like being inspired by that team and the team of ambassadors and the employees there, it's just been one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. And it's a big honor.
That's awesome. Very cool. And then Helen is asking, what is your favorite macro lens?
The 105, the Nikkor 105 macro. I'm obsessed with that one because you can get in really, really close. Nikon has just announced a new 105 mirrorless macro that I have not gotten my hands on yet, but that will be my favorite, I'm sure. I cannot wait. But I have the 200 as well, but I use the 105 macro for 95% of my macro shots. This was shot with the 105.
Very cool. All right, well, that's it for the questions. Let's get back into it.
Wonderful. So now I started, playing a lot with this stuff. I did one other one, which I'd like to show you guys. Here was the flower that I did a focus stack, which I used Adobe Premiere to do this focus stack. So this is
a focus stack on Premiere. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So focus stacking with macro, your app with added magnification of the macro lenses, the depth of field gets shallow and shallower and shallower. So when you're doing macro photography, you're working with really shallow depths of field. So the great thing about being able to focus stack or focus shift shooting is another way people refer to it, is when you take a macro photo, but then you start with what you want in the foreground in focus and you shift your focus back. Every single shot, you shift it just a little bit back. And the cameras, a lot of them can auto do this for you. So this is actually the combination of like 40 or 50 images. And Photoshop has this amazing, it's called auto blend layers, where you can put all of those images in one folder like I did before with the, showing how I use that movement thing that I did before, where I put everything in, load file into stacks. But you do not create a smart object this time. So if you load all your files into stacks and then you select all your layers, you go to auto blend layers and it'll focus stack for you in Photoshop, which is beautiful. So you can shift that focus and get expanded focus just from using Photoshop. If that was explained, did I explain that well? Articulate that?
Yeah, I think you articulated it well.
So I did this, and then here is the piece I made with it. So I did this. I just did reflections, and I did 4 reflections. So this is the combination of that image stack reflected 4 times, which I thought was a fun pattern. It's really cool too, because I'll tell you, I've been teaching this technique a little bit over the last 4 months or so. And some of my students, the work that they've come up with, like these kaleidoscopes in nature, like it's blown me away. People have taken what I've taught them here and like brought it to a whole different level, which is something I would love to see you guys do as well, because it's an easy technique, like using reflections and using opacity and kind of elevating that to a different level.
Yeah, it's very inspirational work. I'm not surprised at all that you're getting blown away by all the different work your students are coming up with. And this is cool. You're telling us here on Adobe Live all this awesome stuff that people would go to a class for, but you're on Adobe Live, you're getting the free lesson of some very, very cool stuff.
Well, here's what I started finding interesting about this is I was going, this is fun doing this reflections, but what if I started doing these reflections with my time lapses in Premiere?
There you go. Now we're talking.
So all the stuff that we did yesterday, we're now going to really play, if that's all right. I'd love to move over to Premiere.
Yeah, let's do it. We're shifting
all
gears.
Right. I'm going to close out. Right.
And while you're firing Premiere up, we have a question. Do you use a focus rail?
Here is the 60 images for the stack, if you guys want to see these real quick. So you can see the focus is shifting in between each frame.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, those are the files that I combined for that image. So I was wrong. It was 60 images in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that method is you load those all to stack. You select all the layers and you auto blend the layers. Pretty cool, right? All right, cool. No, a focus rail. I want one for a I want one for a tripod. Yes, I've got this brand new like bellows kit that macro, a lot of times, like you can get these extensions where you basically put a piece of gear between your lens and your camera, and it lets you get closer and closer and closer to the subject. So you can turn your like 35 millimeter lens into a wide angle macro in a way, because it's like if you get like one of the extension tube sets, you can just put these, pieces of plastic basically in between your camera and your lens. And I just bought a bellows kit, and I can like pull my lens like really far from my camera with it, but I definitely need a focusing rail system for using it. So I've been on the lookout for one, and I'm excited to maybe possibly invest in one. But anyone that knows me and knows my photography, my weak spot is not being the most stable of photographers. I need to start using more tripods and monopods and things like that. I'm just lazy about bringing them out. So yeah, something I am going to be definitely working on. So now we're going to launch into Premiere Pro. And we're going to have some fun. So excited about this. All right. So now I'm going to go into do a new project. I'm going to call this Flower Adobe Live. So I know what this file is. Right. So that anemone that I showed you that I stacked, we're going to play with that. So I have a whole folder that has all of these flower pictures. You guys have seen this. So I did edit these in Lightroom. That's something I worked on yesterday. So if you go to yesterday's, you'll see how I batch everything in Lightroom to get those files the right size for my Premiere time lapses. But basically, once you have them all in a folder, you can select that first file and hit this image sequence button. So select that and go to open. And the great thing about Premiere is it'll create that time lapse for me. It's so easy. I take that time lapse, I drag it to my timeline here, and you can see here's the anemone opening.
Whoa.
This one spins.
So cool.
Super cool, right?
Oh, Kristi, that is
beautiful flower, right?
I just watched that literally for days. Just so cool.
So I started playing around with this a little bit, and these are always too slow for my attention span. So I go to speed duration. I'm going to speed this up to 200, right? And now the flower is going to open twice as fast. You see this flower spins a bit, but my thin vase actually kind of kept it so that it stayed inside my focal range and inside the camera's viewpoint, because I've had lots of problems where they dance way too far away. But so I took this and I was like, what happens if I play with that effect that I was doing? One of the things I love about Adobe products is if you find out something fun to do in Photoshop, a lot of times you can apply that into Premiere. Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of cross workflow with them. That's the cool thing about the apps, right? It's if you understand how one more or less works, then a lot of those same principles apply to different apps. So it's a little easier to pick up some other apps when you understand, so to say, like the Rosetta language of the Adobe apps.
Exactly. So I was like, well, let's play with these reflections. Let's see what happens here. So I took this, I did the same thing. It's the same Control C, Control V, Control Z, Control Z, I'm sorry, Control C. And then I've got to move this blue line here so I don't overlap, Control V. And now I've got two things that are doing the same thing. The first thing I did with this is I kind of put these next to each other and I played with the speed duration. I'm gonna look around my camera here. Speed duration, and I went into reverse speed because I was kind of curious as to what would happen if the flower opened and then the flower closed. So that was a
Yeah,
little bit fun there.
the
But
ping pong effect. I love playing with that.
yeah, I'm going to go ahead and undo that though, because I don't want that for but it's just kind of a fun thing. So
We do have
now
a question from Fabio asking, how many days did it take for this flower to open? Or maybe it wasn't a day. Was it a couple of hours?
this one opened in about 3 hours because I bought it directly
gosh.
from a flower farmer. And I cut the stem, put it in warm water with some sugar and some flower food in that vase. And being such a fresh flower, it opened and closed every
In
night,
3
every
hours.
morning for me. Yeah,
Cool. So
gorgeous.
let me add another question to that then. What was the interval that you shot at?
I think this was either at 30 or 40 seconds.
Okay.
And actually, you know what? Let's go here and let's just, so that I'm not, let's look. All right, so the first one was shot at 4:20 on June 23rd. And then the last frame was shot, and you can see it's been open for a little while at the end. Properties. The last frame was shot at, oh wait, I'm sorry.
That's the created. Yeah.
I looked at the wrong one. All right. Maybe I look at,
It's, yeah, I don't know if the Windows Explorer will give you that metadata. I think Lightroom will, but I don't know. I might be wrong.
maybe
Details, go to details. Here we go. I think it's on here maybe somewhere.
Oh my gosh, I've blanked. I shouldn't have tried doing this live. Created, but that's when the file, oh,
I think that's when the file was
this is when the
imported.
file was created.
Yeah,
so if I
that's when
was
the
to
file
look at
was-
the raw files, it would have done this. But
Right.
this is,
And I think it
okay.
might be under details. There's a lot of info there, but I don't know how deep down this rabbit hole we want to go.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. It still says.
No, that's the same one.
Let's not. Yeah, it was about 4 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it. I know Lightroom does it. I don't know if Windows Explorer does it, but about 4 hours.
Now I've got these two flowers on top of each other. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to video transitions. Video effects. And then I'm going to go to transform. And I've got the horizontal flip. So I'm going to drag and drop that. And while I've got this selected over in the effects control, I'm going to do the opacity to 50%. I'm going to do the same thing I did with everything else. All right, now let's see how this plays. Ooh.
Very cool. It's kind of like what we were doing with Photoshop, that blurred stacking effect.
Yeah. So
Very
it's
surreal.
kind of fun. So taking these two layers, I can actually copy these two layers and then Control V, paste them here. Now this is literally me just playing for like no reason other than to see if I can do this because it was a lot of fun. But now I'm going to do a vertical flip on both of these layers here. And I'm going to change the opacity to 30% this time. I find that 30 is better for the top layers. 30 to 50 to 100, that's kind of how they go. So this is at 30, this is at 30, this is at 50, this is at 100. But now all sorts of patterns come out. My love for patterns.
Super cool.
I'm like, but you know, to be honest, this was just me playing. It doesn't really fit with the flower. It was just me having fun. But then I started thinking about what I could do with my mushroom time lapses to maybe play with the idea of, yeah, making them a little bit, I don't know what the word is. Crazy, fun,
Trippy, crazy,
psychedelic.
fun. Yeah. Kaleidoscopy.
Yeah, because with the mushrooms, like there's something that fits with the mushrooms. So we're gonna move into the time lapse we were playing with yesterday and start playing with it and see what we can do with it. Is there any way?
Let's play.
Can I show them the video I made yesterday?
Yeah, is it the one that you gave me after
Yeah.
we were on air, or the one that we were
Yes.
playing yesterday during the show?
Oh, well, let's play the one that we played during the show yesterday and then play the one that I sent you last night.
Okay, so
let's play
it's
both,
the
if
mushroom
that's
time lapse
okay.
one.
So
Okay.
we'll show the mushroom time lapse that we made yesterday. Well, we made part of this yesterday, and then we'll show you the psychedelic mushroom video.
Ooh, okay, I'm gonna cue it up. So this is the mushroom one that we showed yesterday. So here. Very cool. Those were our mushroom friends.
Yes. Is the audio playing on these?
Yeah, you can't hear
great.
it, unfortunately, but everybody's got audio. Don't you
Awesome.
worry. All right, should we play the other one, the pattern dance?
Yes, let's play pattern
This
dance.
is a new video. We're airing it here first. You'll get to see it. All right, here we go. Second video coming up. Oh man, that music though. It's like, I feel like we're watching the Dark Knight of Mushrooms. Very cool stuff. There was a lot going on in that second video, and it was so captivating.
So it's okay. We're gonna play with that. We're gonna start.
Let's do it. Let's play.
Oh my gosh, I had so much fun making that. And in all honesty, time lapses, they are so quick to make in Premiere that we went over a little bit more than I expected yesterday. So this is brand new. So last night it was like, I need to really expand and push my creativity for tomorrow. And I started playing, and I got so into this yesterday and so into the creation of this. It completely consumed me, and I'm like really excited to play more with it today.
Yeah, the chat's freaking out, by the way. They're just praising that second video.
Yay. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Super cool. Wowzers. Love it. Those are trippy mushrooms. Wow. Kristi's a master. Nice. Unbelievable. Banging my desk over and over. This is awesome.
Yes.
Anyway, you get the idea. Goes on.
Oh, yay. I'm so excited. And I am so excited to kind of like even get you guys feedback today, because yesterday, that brilliant question about speed ramping, like, anything that you guys see that can help make this piece even better, let's create together today.
This is my favorite. When we have interactive design, again, I mean, this could be just a pre-recording, right? And then you'll just see what's laid out. But no, this is live. All right, chat, you do have a say on how this edit may come out. So as we're working, throw out suggestions, and I'll read them, and whether take them or we don't. But that's half the fun of being live.
Exactly. And for any of you guys that missed yesterday, to kind of see where I got to this point, feel free to watch that. It is online still on the Behance website. And but yeah, no, we're gonna start from that point, and we're gonna create some fun stuff today. So you guys see my screen again?
Yep, we got Premiere.
So here's what we created yesterday. And did you notice that in the one that I made last night, I used the new logo where we spiraled and zoomed a bit? Excited.
Yeah. I think you added it had the wave too. I was like, was that there last time?
It definitely was.
But sugar doesn't work.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was trying to fix the fact that sometimes I would say cuss words when I was at the rock climbing gym. So I started yelling sugar out instead of cussing, and it stuck.
I love it. It did stick. You got me saying it now.
But people now laugh. I'm originally from Georgia, so I think it's like I don't know, going back to my roots. But here we go. Speaking about going to roots. So here's the... Oh my gosh, I love bad puns too. If any of you guys have anything that's punny, like
I don't know if you know this, Kristi, but I would argue that the Adobe live chat was raised with bad puns. So we do have some people there that love bad puns.
I love it. Well, it's so funny too with mushrooms. Like fungi has so many things, and I literally, my plant growing tent, people call it my mush room.
Your mush, nice.
Which I think is kind of clever. Okay, so here's what we...
I have a bad pun joke that I have to say.
Dude!
Like, why does everybody love the mushroom guy?
Because he's a fun guy? Oh!
You said it. You already kind of knew the answer because I got inspired with you saying that. But yes. Anyway, chat, let us know if you have some bad but great puns.
I love them. All right.
And one more thing. Do you want to call out? We do have that artist spotlight countdown right there at the bottom right. So in about 20 minutes, we'll be transitioning to the artist spotlight, but we'll have a little bit more time to keep playing. So without further ado, let's keep playing.
Sounds good. All right. So on this, I am literally going to, I really just want to start when the mushrooms get bigger and the patterns are there. So I'm literally gonna, well, first I'm gonna save this as a copy so that this is Adobe Live Day 2, so that I have this before I completely manipulate it. I have a different copy of it. Okay. Oh, and so I'm going to delete these first 2 files because the mushrooms aren't quite big enough. And I'm going to take this and delete this. And I'm going to go ahead and start playing with these 4 and seeing what I can do here. And I'm going to go ahead and just honestly, let's do something simple. Let's just copy this whole thing by selecting everything and hitting Control C and then hitting Control V. And I'm going to line this up. And I'm going to do what I was talking about earlier, where I do the video transitions, and I'm just going to flip everything on, video effects. And then I go to transform. I'm going to flip everything on the horizon that's on my V2 channel. All right. So we're going to go ahead and just do that. I'm going to change the opacity to all these to 50. 50. So this is kind of how I got it started with it yesterday. And then we're going to add a whole bunch of other layers, and we're going to add a whole bunch of other. I'm going to right click here, ripple delete to the beginning. So here is kind of how it started yesterday. Kind of cool, right?
Very cool. Already digging it.
Right. And that one did the slow down and speed up from that speed ramp suggestion.
Speed
yesterday.
Ramp action.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it copied that on the other layer, which was super cool. Right. And so like, say this one, I want to mix it up. I'm going to select all here, Control C, and then I'm going to Control V that. I'm going to try putting an extra layer here and flipping these over the vertical. And I want to change that opacity on both of these to 30%. Yeah. All right. So let's see now what that second one does. I could seriously like watch these all day. It's just kind of.
Goodness gracious. You know, if I didn't have the context that we're working with mushrooms, I would have no idea what the heck I'm looking at.
It's kind of
some underwater photography of like amoebas or something. I don't know. It's very cool.
Weird. I'm going to get rid of this dip to black here. So I'm just selecting it and getting rid of it. And here, this is what I did here. I selected these 2 because this is one of my favorite parts, but I did not to let my camera go for long enough. But I ended up taking this and Control C'ing it, and then I Control V'd it so that I've got this backed up with itself here. So it does that and then it starts over. But instead of it starting over, I'm going to right click here and do speed duration and make it go in reverse, right? On both of these, okay? And the reason I did that is because it kind of looks a bit seamless going from forwards to backwards in a way. Like it doesn't look like there's too much of, right? There's something kind of cool there. But now I'm gonna take these 2 and copy these, paste them, and I'm going to put them on top. And I'm going to flip these over the vertical. The cool thing is I can have both of them selected and I can do the vertical flip on both of them. So I don't have to individually do them. Now I'm going to go over here and do the 30% and the 30%. All right. So now let's see how this sequence looks. So it goes from this to this.
Nice.
All right, so now we're gonna pull some more mushroom stuff in. Can we pull those whites in and then pull some of those like weird pink ones in that I did at the end? Do we have any questions? How are you guys doing?
No, but we have bad puns that I have to read. Bad but great puns. All right, Bruce says, what made the mushroom forager such a good person? He had good morals.
Oh, love it. I love it. That was so good.
And then Voodoo's saying, so much room in my heart for all you folks.
Oh That's my awesome. Gosh. I love you all.
Yeah. Very, very fun.
So good. So good. You guys are great. All right. So I'm going to double click here and I'm going to go into day 2. I have my mushroom doubles here. All of these are my pinks that I did from underneath. So those are the ones that kind of had some really fun textures. Select the first image. I do that image sequence and I hit open. I'm gonna put this in here. And now this is the time lapse straight off. So once again, with my attention span, this is going too slow. I'm gonna turn this up to 300. Now this is an example though, where you guys can totally see just how much the, oh, sorry. I've got to look around my camera. All right. So you can see just how much mushrooms go out of your plane of focus. So you can see they get closer and closer, and now they're all out of focus because I didn't use a big enough depth of field there. But I love the texture still. So I was like, you know, let's see if it works for this, and maybe the focus won't be too big of a deal. But oh, when they crash like that, it's just gorgeous.
Do you have an artificial pan upwards on that one? Or is that
that's
an illusion? Okay.
It's the fact that
that's
the
very
whole,
cool.
the whole bunch is growing up together.
Yeah, it looks like you almost have a slider like moving up with it, but I guess that's just the effect with all the mushrooms growing upward like that. That's super cool.
So I'm doing that 50% on opacity, and I did the vertical flip, and this one came out so cool. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't want to do vertical flip. I wanted to do, sorry, I'm going to undo the vertical flip. I want to do a horizontal flip. Yeah, look at that.
There it is.
That's pretty cool, right? That's going to stay in. Boy.
Those textures, let me tell you.
So we're going to grab some more of this, these doubles. And while I'm doing that, if you guys have any questions, put them up in the chat room. So I'm just going to be doing a lot of the same step, but I want to show you guys and put this all together because I am having way too much fun with this.
Yes, let us know if you have any questions. Now's a good time to ask them because we are doing some monotonous work, but it is all part of the process to get the desired outcome. I think somebody in the chat doesn't get the jokes. Like, I'm sorry, I don't get it. I do about the mushrooms, but not about why it's so funny. I think that's just dad jokes. You can say that about dad jokes or puns. You either get them or you don't. Are they funny? Maybe.
Oh my goodness. Hang on one second. Sorry, I'm going to speed duration 300. There we go. All right, I'm going to copy this. Control C. Oh, what have I done here? All right, I'm just going to close out and close back in. If that's all right. I've saved the project.
Are you going to start from scratch?
No, it's just it's a little with the zoom and everything going on with my computer. I just had a little glitch.
It's gonna low throttle. No worries.
A little delay, but not a problem. So 10 seconds. We will be right back in. All right. A lot going on. Okay. So let me Control C, Control V, and take that and move that there. Effects control, 50%. And then I'm going to do my transitions. Yeah. Sorry, it's a little bit, what's going on here? There it is. You know what I honestly think it is, which is so silly. My, you know, it's a little nerve-wracking speaking live. My palms have gotten sweaty, which is making my mouse not respond.
Oh no. Is that what the issue is? Is your mouse just freezing up?
Yeah.
Is it wireless or wired?
It's wired. I don't know what's going on. It's just not responding to my clicking, but it's all good. It's my,
weird.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're good. But here's another one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I want to go ahead and play too with these white mushrooms and add those in. But this is kind of how I did the in sequence here. A couple of these. And then I had one of my favorite ones, which I'm going to do a 4-time reflection on, which I think was before. Oh, no, 4 under I didn't use. I used 3 under. All right. I've got this selected, open. All right. Same thing. I'm doing the same thing, guys. Speed duration. I like repeating the same thing over and over because I don't know. I like having fun with one tool. Do the horizontal. I'm going to do the 50. Then I'm going to take both of these, Control C, Control V. I'm going to move these up, do a vertical flip.
Someone in the chat goes, palm sweaty, mom spaghetti.
Oh my gosh, I love it, right?
I feel like Val's been waiting all day to
right.
say that. Never miss an opportunity to quote that Eminem song.
So what are you guys thinking of how it's working?
I like that one. Oh, this one is, wow.
They're kind of fun.
Fun guys?
Fun guys, right? Look at that last one. That's cool.
This one's good. Is this the four timer one?
Yeah, that was the 4 timer was
yeah,
here.
that one's getting super kaleidoscopy. Wow. I love the ripple waves that just kind of overtake everything.
Now I think I want to do the white mushrooms in here, if that's all right. I named those white. This one had a really cool pattern. It's like the first image that opened.
Yeah. And Fairy's asking, did you flip it? And I think you are flipping it, right? You're just flipping it along the X and Y axes and putting it in different.
Yeah. So I'm doing this. I'll do that here. I'll do it slowly. 300 here. So this one's at 300 speed. I'm doing Control C, Control V, and then I'm moving this over. The first one I'm flipping over the horizon.
Ooh, can I show you a cool trick?
Yeah.
Okay, so that copy you just made, what you can do, if you hold down Alt, click, and drag up, it makes a copy to the next layer. So you hold down Alt, and then you click on the clip, and then drag up at the same time. Yeah, so now you have a copy.
What? Oh my gosh.
Instead of doing like Command C, Command V, it's just an easy way to stack them and copying them.
It's like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And it's, you know, it's like these mushrooms, they're growing.
Yeah.
So I'm doing
on top of each other.
I did her horizontal flip and vertical flip. So I did the vertical flip on 2 and the horizontal flip on 2 of them. So you see that pattern that's kind of coming out? Now I need to change this.
I love when they intersect from like when they're growing out in. That makes a very, very cool effect.
It definitely does. 30%.
And some people think, Natavia from the chat is saying, I don't know why, but this feels like it would be a great James Bond intro. That is a great compliment.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we got to think of the title of what this James Bond would be. Let's do a chat. You know the title is like No Time to Die or Skyfall or You Only Live Once. What would be the title for this James Bond film? Maybe related to mushrooms.
James Bond. Fun guy.
Fun guy, yeah. Mushroom never dies or something. I don't know. Let's see if the chat comes up.
Oh my goodness. So here's that first. Kind of cool, right? Maybe it's a little slow.
Cool.
Was it too slow for you?
I don't know. Let's
try 400 on those. I don't think you can't change speed duration on multiple at once. I don't think. I have to
maybe if you highlight them and then hit speed duration.
I could have tried that. I don't think it. I think you have to do them individually.
Do me a favor. Click on a clip and then click Control R. I forget if this is a default shortcut or if I did it. So just click on a clip and then go to Control R. Yeah, there you go. So there's your shortcut for speed duration. So it saves you a couple clicks.
I love it. Control R.
I'm all about shortcuts because all those little clicks add up.
So here's what I've come up with so far. What do you guys think? Think we should add some music?
Yeah, we can.
How are we doing for... We might be able to, but I don't know if... Maybe I'll just...
I don't know if I'll relay through Premiere, though. I think we're having that issue.
No worries.
We do have a suggestion for what this title sequence could be if it was a James Bond intro.
Yeah.
It says, Shroom Another Day. That's a good one. Good one, Randall.
You know what else I want to do here? I want to open a recent project. I want to open the project we did yesterday with the logo and put that logo in there. This is the logo I made live. So we're going to go ahead and just take this, Control C, and then we're going to go back to this other sequence and put that logo in there because that was fun too, right? And as you guys noticed, and
we used that logo, right? Didn't you add the new logo to that second video?
I did. So here's the logo we made in yesterday's. I like the spinning. It's pretty cool. How are we doing?
We got another James Bond one.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna say this word right. But what is it? Botanist? Botanist? How do you say it?
Botanist?
The botanist, okay. So it says the botanist who loved me.
Oh my god. Oh,
That's great.
you guys are amazing. This was the first one I did. This one though, yeah, let's do this one too. Because in the one that I made that you showed earlier, I definitely used this one. Speed duration.
Ooh, Fairy's got a deep title, but I think it's fitting for the James Bond verse. It says grow from death. Because they literally are growing from death. Think about it.
Oh my goodness. So this one, yeah, we're gonna make this one smaller. Because the mushrooms...
We do have we have about 13 minutes for the artist spotlight. So little time check.
Oh, okay, no worries. These are the wrong size anyways. So we don't need to do these. Okay. But those were 13 minutes, you said?
13 minutes. Yeah, we'll do the artist spotlight. Then we'll probably have about another 20 minutes to go back and do some more work after it.
Oh, cool. Wonderful. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save. What are you guys thinking?
In terms of what we can do with these edits?
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know, chat. How are you liking the edits? Do you like these mirroring effects? Is there anything that we can add? Maybe some time remapping to some of them?
Okay.
But let us know. Really curious to see what your suggestions are, if any.
I would love to do some slowing down and growing up. Slowing down and speeding up. Let's do that.
James Bond, licensed to bloom.
You guys are fantastic. All right. So let's see. Which ones? This one I really like, right?
That one's cool. I like that one too.
This one right here?
I like that one, yeah. Yeah.
So
I think it's two of them, right? Two of them converging into each other.
Yeah, let's speed up and slow down this. Oh, that one already does the ramp.
Yeah, it's already speed ramped.
So maybe we'll do the speed ramp with this one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Or, how about this one right here? Yeah, we're gonna do it there. Okay. So you guys remember to do, now here's one of the things I feel like I'm gonna go ahead and just pull these over on the side real quick, just so that I can see them better. I don't think I can do them both at once. So I'd probably just end up copying, I'm gonna delete this upper layer and I'm gonna do the ramp here and then I'm gonna copy that so that the ramp stays in the copy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the show clip keyframes, time remapping, speed. Now I'm gonna make this much, much, much bigger so we can see what's
you just
going
did a shortcut
here.
to do that. What'd you do? Let's let the chat friends know.
Oh,
Did you drag it up or did you? Oh, sorry. I thought you were doing a little shortcut.
No,
you just dragged it up. But yes, so pro tip with when you're doing show speed frames, you got to drag up the clip so you can see that line. So if you right click and then you add the speed clip frames and you don't see the line, then this isn't going to work. So you just got to drag it to make that thumbnail bigger so that you can see the line and mess with that.
So should we make it go fast and then slow? What do you think?
Fast
and then slow? Yeah.
I think,
okay.
Yeah, let's do that. I think it's always captivating when everything's fast and out of nowhere you get a curveball that it slows down. So yeah, let's go fast and then slow.
And let's make it slow right at the crash, right? Okay, so this is the point. We're going to use this pen tool. We're going to grab that to make a little spot there. And we'll make it slow here. And then right here, let's make it go fast again. Okay. So now I'm going to take the selection tool and I'm going to start playing with this. And we're going to make it, let's make it like 30%. So it's going to go fast, slow. Is that too slow?
I think it could go even slower. I'm a sucker for, where are you at right now? 30% or 80?
30%.
Okay, I don't know if it can go any slower than that.
I like it like that. Let's stay at 30. Let's see what that does. Oh, and I love doing this where you can take these little ends here and you can make that ramp nice and smooth.
Yep.
And you can also
then
you taught me this yesterday.
Yeah, you click the handle. So click the handle and then kind of move it clockwise.
Yeah.
Or I think you have to go left on that one. There you go.
There we go.
And it gives it a Bezier curve, so it's a little bit smoother. So before that, it's just like an abrupt slowdown, but it like slowly ramps into the slow motion. That's what that's doing.
So cool. Whee! All right. So here's the one.
Yeah, that's where it slows down. Very cool. Then it'll
And then
speed
it's
back
gonna
up.
speed back up. Yeah, and you know what's really cool is to do these speed ramps to music.
Yeah.
So it's like when the beat of the song either has like a pause or speeds up, like being able to ramp with the music is like so much fun, and it can add so much dynamics to your piece.
Agreed.
So now I'm gonna
we have a suggestion.
Yes.
Natavia, I think I'm saying that right. If I'm not, please let me know. They're suggesting, what if you go fast forward and then slow in reverse?
Oh, that's nice. Let's try it. Let's see.
Let's try it. Why not?
I would love to see. Okay.
We're playing here. Anything can happen.
I'm going to flip this over the horizon here, and then I'm going to do the 50%. So we've got that extra layer, and this should hold that time speed ramping. Mm-hmm. So now we go fast and then poof. And then it'll go fast again.
Yeah, that's a cool spot to do it.
Actually, that was a great spot. So now I'm going to put this back in my clip. Yeah, literally, I have my camera in the middle of the screen, so I have to look around it. And I just wanted a little more space. So her suggestion was to go fast and then go slow in reverse.
Yes, it's, let's see if I can find it. What if you go fast forward and then slow in reverse? Yep.
Let's do it on this one. Okay. Oops. I grabbed the speed there. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just work with that bottom layer. We're gonna delete that top layer. So we're gonna go fast like it is, and we're gonna take this, Control C, Control V, and then we're gonna do exactly the speed duration. We're gonna reverse speed. So it's gonna go fast and then slow in reverse. So let's go down to 100% here. All right, so now this is gonna go fast, and then it's gonna go slow in reverse. Now we're
that is cool.
That was a great suggestion. Now let's go ahead and copy those, and we're gonna go ahead and see what happens when we do let's just do both of them. Control C, Control V. And then I'm gonna do that. I can do horizontal flip and select both of them. You can't do that though with the effects control. You've got to have only one selected, unfortunately. So 50, 50. Oh, I'm excited to see this. All right, so this is going to go fast and then slow in reverse.
Slow down, reverse. Ooh. It's alive.
Oh, that's mesmerizing.
Yeah.
Love it. Maybe we should speed it up at the end again or something. I don't know.
Yeah, what I was thinking, what you could do at the end is sometimes, so you have the normal speed, then it slows down. And then when it goes back to the normal speed, I actually like to make it faster. So it's like a super quick recap. So it's normal or then slow and then like ×2 to like speed through the whole thing.
Oh, let's try it. I keep grabbing Okay, so let's try that.
Everybody's praising Natavia for the suggestion. And they go, I love that. And they go, good one.
This is awesome.
You're a genius. Yeah, this is a two-way street. Let us know your suggestions. We're happy to incorporate them.
Let's see. Let's do that pen.
Oh, and she said how to Natavia. Cool. Thank you for phonetically spelling that out. Natavia. Got it.
So now we've got it at 200%. So maybe, let's see, it's going to go slow. And then I'm going to do the reflection, and then it's going to go it's not fast enough, is it?
Oh, and this is actually Natavia's first time joining one of these. And look at that. She's already given pro tip suggestions to these.
Oh, well, welcome. I'm so happy you're here.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for the suggestions.
Okay, so.
Natavia.
Control C. How far off are we from the artist spotlight?
We got about 4 minutes.
Lovely. And then 50. So let's see how that works. Oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun with this. And it should go super.
It's gonna go fast.
I didn't make it fast enough, did I? No.
No. And I think that was that going fast in reverse? So I was thinking it could go fast, like going the normal way. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so it's like another clip. So
Yeah, so you'd have to cut it and then reverse the time. So it goes forward and then slow. Or no, it goes forward at normal speed and then slow in reverse and then times 2 the normal way. Does that make sense?
Awesome. Yes.
Am I making any sense? Okay.
Okay, let's try that. Okay, so, and then I take Control C. This is so much fun. I can do this all day. So now we're going to take this and speed duration. Let's do 500 or 600?
What was it at originally? Was it at 300?
300. Yeah.
Yeah, let's double it. Let's try 600.
So this should go backwards and forwards.
So it goes forward. And then slowly back. And then back forward times 2. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So cool. You guys are awesome. Love it. Love it. Who else is it their first time on one of these?
Yeah, let us know. Do we have any other first timers?
Okay.
Moshe's saying, I'm watching this in my 4K screen. Oh, I bet this is mesmerizing in 4K, my friend.
It looks really, really cool on my screen. I'm glad it's looking good on your screen because we did a lot to optimize it and make sure it, you know, has a good feed. But here we go so far, right?
Ooh, let's take it. Wait. Can you pause it? Let's take it a step further. Can you make the program window full screen?
Yes.
Let's get the full effect here for
Great
our 4K friends.
Suggestion.
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, this is a movie or TV show intro for sure.
All homegrown.
All homegrown.
And delicious.
Oh, I like that speed ramp. That was pretty cool.
Was pretty awesome.
Yeah. We'll go forward.
It could even go faster, I think, that one.
I think so. Yeah, the reverse one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the reverse speed.
And then that's the final. I love that last one. And then I probably...
So Cheryl's saying this is her first time. Welcome, Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl.
Suzanne's first time was yesterday. Elaine's first time was yesterday, too. Awesome. Thank you all for joining us and for coming back for day 2. Very cool.
So I do want to do a video transition. I want to dissolve and dip to black here at the very end. Do that on all 4 of these layers here. Oh, actually, I probably could select them and do it all. Can I select them all? Let's see. Do they all? Nope, you gotta do it on one. But now this one goes, yeah.
Whoa, nice.
Oh, this is so much fun.
Very cool.
Yeah. Let's show, oh, sorry, what?
No, go ahead. We do have 30 seconds to the artist spotlight, but we don't have to do it on the dot. Did you want to suggest one thing to do right before we get to it?
I wanted to show that the piece that I shared with you so that people could see it with music, but we could do that right when we get back from the artist spotlight.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
So it's going to be the artist spotlight. I actually do have a way to bring it up on my end. Is it easier for you to do it on my end, or do you want to put it up on your screen, Kristi?
Your end sounds perfect. That would be great.
Okay. All right, so it's time for our artist spotlight. So give me a second while I pull it up. All right, drum roll, please. Anna Bruce, congratulations! You are spotlit artist for the segment. So, do you know Anna personally?
I do.
Kristi?
I do.
Okay, cool. What's the relation? How do you guys know each other?
We met each other doing photography back in the DC area. We both lived in the Northern Virginia area, and I just adore her. And when I moved out to Colorado, she lives in this area. And I've always admired her because she has the whole sky is the limit, and she really pushes creativity and does things that just bring you to a completely different world. And so we've definitely, I don't know, I love her work. I love how surreal it is, and I love how personal it is. A lot of what she's dealing with is photographing self-portraits. So she's in a lot of her own images, and she uses Photoshop to really bring those images and make these composites that really just show us a lot of emotion and feel. And I admire her so much.
That's awesome. Well, everybody go to Anna, give her a follow here on Behance. I think she's got her other links on here as well, Instagram, Facebook. So show her some love, give her a follow, and let's look at this one project that she's got on Behance. Is it a she?
It's a she, yeah.
It's a she. Okay.
I think she's got a lot of images in there. So if you scroll down, you can see a bit of her portfolio.
Yeah, we'll Sorry, go ahead.
Is her portfolio on there? Can you scroll down and see more?
I think this is the only project that I see, unless you're talking about the portfolio here.
Yeah.
Well, this is tools used.
Oh,
so
sorry.
I think it's just shouting out that they use portfolio. But we can look at this project that she has on Behance. Then maybe we can look at her website or Instagram to see some more work. But yeah, I mean, as we're scrolling through this, just feel free to interject with any things that you like, something that they did really well. I mean, this is already super cool. I mean, obviously, I think this is probably done in Photoshop. And I think these smoke clouds are blended very, very well with the bodies. Super cool stuff. Yeah, and I'd be curious to know if this is photography that she's taking, or is it stock images? Like, is this original work and then composited together?
To my knowledge, everything is original work. So she takes all the photographs and then does the composites together. And so, yeah, if you scroll down, there's some that I know that are her specifically. Actually, that's probably her.
Whoa, I like this one.
She has all sorts of things on her Instagram that kind of show how she puts these together, and like it'll break down the individual images that she shot and then placed together. So definitely give her a follow. That's her. So she's in that image there.
Okay, very cool. I'd love to know how she did this. Was this taken underwater, or were these kind of flayed out somehow that stuck?
I'm not sure.
Cool.
I think she might be in the chat. If you're in the chat, let us know. We would love that.
Yeah, Anna, let us know if you're in there. Give us a little bit of behind the scenes notes.
I love this. Can I read this out?
Yeah, please do.
Can you scroll up just a little bit? I believe that so this is from Anna. This is her write-up. I believe that there's a magical world inside all of us, a world of imagination, dreams, creativity, and enchantment. I want to share a piece of my world and memories with you. As a child, the only way I knew how to express myself creatively was through drawing. I grew up in Venezuela, and at the age of 14, while visiting my aunt in California, my parents made an unexpected phone call to us. I learned that I was not returning home because of the political uncertainty. Instead, they were uprooting us and moving us to the United States. The event left me so unchanged that I turned to photography as a way to physically document my life. As time went on, I also turned to photography as a way to express myself creatively and began experimenting. I'm a fine art photographer. I love that I'm able to combine my photographs with my drawing and painting skills and create surreal, painterly images in Photoshop that look impossibly real.
Because I think that answers our question. I think everything's done originally, which is very, very cool. Yeah, and we have some people shouting her out in the chat. So her work reminds me of Brooke Shaden. I love this. This is beautiful. The ghosts look so cool. And a beautiful work. Yeah, very cool.
And if you guys, look at her Instagram. We should pull up her Instagram. Yeah, let's do that. She's definitely one of those people that's just highly, hugely inspirational, because she has this love and passion for people and life, and she's got this light and this energy to her. And she started also doing a bunch of drawing recently that shows the energy in mountains, because we both live in Colorado. So the drawing stuff that she's doing and some of the things that she's doing now, it's been mind-blowing to me. And I hope I'm saying the right things, because it's hard to talk about another artist's work, but I know that she's just an amazing human that I'm very glad to have in my life.
Spooky. Very cool. Yeah, so here is her Instagram, @BrucePhotos. So everybody give her a follow. She's got some very cool stuff here. Very inspirational. Very in line with the type of stuff that we love to highlight in the show. So it looks like she's very, very talented compositor. So super cool stuff. Yeah, and she said she does everything originally. So I can only imagine that these textures are all done whether digitally by hand or just originally in the apps. So super cool stuff. Yeah, right on. Very cool. All right, so I'm going to transition us back to you, Kristi. We have about, 20 minutes? So we have 20 minutes left to keep playing with some more stuff. So
Great. If it's okay with you guys, I would love to work on adding some movement to this, like using the keyframes to zoom in and zoom out, and also like maybe even spin some of these shots like we did with the logo. Yeah. Let's see where we can take this.
You know what we didn't do? We didn't show the video. Let's show the video one more time.
Oh, yes.
And how it looks like with music. So here we go. Playing that video right meow. Very cool stuff. And of course, I love that the implementation of the logo we worked on yesterday made the end scene. Very cool.
I really think I'm going to start using that logo for my time lapses. So I'm really grateful for you guys for helping me put that together. And I don't know, honestly, if I would have ever made this mushroom time lapse if it wasn't for, wow, the time lapses were a lot faster to make live than I expected because it's so simple. So I had so much fun yesterday just being like, let's create. And at first, oh my gosh, I failed so many times. It was so funny. I was like, I can't show that live. I can't show that. And then when I got to this, I was going, oh, wow. I
have to show that.
This is the one right here. This one right here. That's the one I want to spin. What do you guys think? You want to see what happens when this spins, like we spun the logo? So maybe spinning in and clockwise. All right. So we're going to play with those keyframes again. Up here, we're just going to do some rotation and scale keyframes because as it rotates, I don't want to be able to see the black around the side. So I might have to zoom in as well. So I'm going to take this rotation. I want everything to start, obviously, like right where it's at. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a keyframe for all 4 of these. Tell it this is where I want it to start on the rotation scale. Now we're going to go to this top one and I want this to rotate. Let's rotate it, its in spot to be, that's going to be too much. Let's do -60. -60. So we're going to do counterclockwise. I feel like we should do clockwise though. I like things going clockwise. We're going to go 60. We're going to do 60 for all of these. And now I'm going to go ahead and just hide these channels. So I'm going to make those so that they're not visible because I want to see what's just going on with the one that I'm playing with here. Do you guys see this space here? I don't want that. So also I'm going to add a scale keyframe. Oh, it's already going in and out a little bit, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and just delete this keyframe.
So Kristi, I do want to shout out that Anna did actually, she's in the chat now. She's driving. Yay. So Anna, stay safe. If you're driving, don't worry about it. But she goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry I couldn't chat. I was on the highway trying to find somewhere safe to pull over. Thank you for pulling over. Yes, 99% of my work is all original photography that I've taken throughout my life. So cool. My textures are all created from art or things I photographed. I am on the road, but I wanted to chime in. Thank you so much for the love and Kristi for this. Aw. We're so glad to have spotlight you, Anna. Thank you for taking the time to chime in. But,
thank you so much.
Get home safely.
Oh my goodness. She's amazing. I'm so happy that we were honored to be able to spotlight you today.
Yeah, agreed. Honored. Thank you for sharing your work and giving us the opportunity to spotlight your work. Very cool stuff.
So on this one, my final scale was, oh goodness, wrong clip. Hang on. What did I have it at? I thought it was 153. Let me just do this scale again because I'm going to do my final scale at 156 because that pretty much, okay, I'm gonna write that down. 156, right? So I have 156 for my scale, and I had 60 degrees for my rotation. So I'm just gonna do that same thing with all of these. Go ahead and just delete this keyframe. I guess I had a keyframe in there already, but I'm gonna do that scale 156. And rotation would be 60. So we're going to do that for all of these. I don't know how this is going to look. I've never done this, but I'm curious.
That's the cool thing about doing it live. We don't know. We'll do it live.
156. Then we're going to add a keyframe here to 60. We got to do the bottom layer too, because the bottom layer needs to spin as well. All right.
Anna's throwing you some love, Kristi. She goes,
Aww.
Kristi, you're amazing. And we are so lucky to have you on here. Agreed. This has been a very fun and original stream, I'll say. I can't say I've done a stream with editing time lapses of mushrooms. And it is, I think I can speak for everybody in the chat when I say very mesmerizing, very fun, very trippy.
Very trippy. I'm going to be known as that fun girl.
Yeah, fun girl. Trippy fun girl.
Oh my gosh. So let's see how that spin works.
Whoa. Oh my goodness. Very
it probably
cool.
needs to zoom a little bit more. I've still got those.
That's what I was gonna say. I think what I would do here is like do a slow zoom in too.
Yeah, we've got the zoom in because I've changed the scale. So the scale goes, but I didn't change it enough. So I think we're gonna have to do this scale to like way 250. Probably gonna.
Another thing you can do, Kristi, is you can actually compose all these clips and then it turns into one clip and then you can scale that. So you don't have to do it individually.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Can you show me? Can we do that with my logo? Do you guys want to see that? Because I don't know how to do that. And that would be a massive shortcut. So I'm doing it the old school way here. Did I do that right? This needs to be dragged. And then I want to know how to do that, if that's okay.
Yeah, let's do it. So what you would do is you would highlight all the clips.
Okay,
so all the ones that are stacked.
Second.
Oh, yeah,
Let me,
whenever you're
okay.
ready.
So this one, let's see, because that would be, whoa.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, that's so cool.
That's weird. Okay, so this logo, because I kind of want the logo to start smaller and then zoom in, but I didn't want to do that to all the layers. So how you
So do you want to do it to the logo or just the
flowers? The flowers.
Okay, so yeah, you highlight them, then you right click. And then you go to, oh, sorry, it's called nesting. It's pre-composed in After Effects. Here it's nesting. So go to nest.
Okay.
Okay. And then you could just usually got to give it a title. So there, now you have everything within that clip. All right. So if you want it, so what you can do is on that nested clip is now you can scale it and it'll affect everything within those layers.
So cool. So I'm going to start small and then go, oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, there you go.
Beautiful.
And then if you wanted to get in there, you double click on the nested clip and then you can mess with the individual clips. So it gives it its own sequence.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah,
so...
but you can still mess with it. And then if you wanted to unnest it, you can right click and then go to unnest in case you didn't want that.
Wow. I've been using Nest for, I do a lot of slow motion work and I have to nest my slow motion sequences to do warp stabilizer.
Right. Yeah, because it won't honor things in an individual clip, but if you nest it, then you can put those effects on a brand new clip because there's some effects that it won't work if there's like another effect stack on top of it. Warp stabilizer is one of those, but if you nest it, then it'll honor that and then you can apply effects on top of that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so on After Effects, it's usually pre-composing. So that's how I treat nested clips on Premiere. It's kind of the same way how you pre-compose something in After Effects.
Oh my gosh. So I can take another one of these and do the same thing.
Yes, you can do the same with all those. So you'll just highlight them, nest, and then you can add global effects, so to say, to all those clips within the nested clip.
Okay, so what else do I want to, maybe this first one? Let's take that, grab all of them. Let's try this. Nest it. I'm going to call it White Oyster. Okay. And now I can take that and I can apply keyframes to that.
Correct. Yeah, and it's going to affect everything in there. So it's treating it like it's all one, kind of like a smart object, I guess, in Photoshop, right?
So it's cool.
So it's going to affect everything as one clip, but it's going to affect every individual clip that's in that nested clip.
It's, oh my gosh. I've worked in Premiere for years, but I feel like that program has so many features that every time I use it, there's something more to learn.
Yeah,
you know what I
and
mean?
I mean, we're forever students. I mean, I've been using Premiere and After Effects for years as well, and I'm always learning. And a lot of times, it's just watching these shows. You know, if somebody shows me a different workflow that, you know, there's no right or wrong way to do it, but I'd say there's more efficient ways to do things or more optimized ways that are a little quicker to get a desired outcome. And the more you use them, the more you learn them, the more you watch things like this, you learn. That's the beautiful thing about these programs.
Cool. Well, how are we doing with questions in the chat? Because I think we're at a good point with this.
No questions right now. If you all have any questions, let us know. We do have about 10 minutes left.
Oh, we have 10 more minutes.
We'll be wrapping up here. But if there are any last minute questions, now's the chance because we have Kristi for another 10 minutes, and then it's until next time.
Till next time. And I'd love for you guys to share some work with me and follow me on Instagram and all that good stuff. So I'd love to share my Instagram page if that's all right.
Yeah,
I'm like mesmerized with this. This has been fun.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna stop just staring at it.
Oh, can I do a shameless plug to the time lapses I was talking about, where I more or less do the same thing?
Yes, I want to see more of your hyperlapses because they're unbelievable.
Well, this is not a hyperlapse, but I was messing around for a bit with kind of congruent shapes like that. I just gotta find it. Hang tight. Where are you? Here we go. Okay. So I kind of had the same idea that Kristi's doing here, but it starts off at like, this is in the Canadian Rockies, by the way. If you haven't been to Banff, Jasper, oh my goodness. Don't know what you're missing out. This has music, by the way, but I can't play it for licensing purposes. It starts off with this, and then they kind of like have this mirroring effect, right? And it just gets super cool.
Wow.
You know, and then it's like kind of like a seamless loop. But yeah, I mean, I love playing with stuff like that too. This is a little gnarlier, but I kind of multiplied and did all the things that you were doing, but up there in the clouds, just kind of this endless dance of clouds up in the sky.
Wow.
All right. And then let's see, I had one more that I wanted to show. Yeah, this was kind of the same idea, but I played around with some 3D cameras there and like kind of this inverted thing of another time lapse.
Oh my gosh.
So the camera goes in and we're in another time lapse.
Wow.
And then there's that speed ramping, right? So it gets really slow and then it reverses. Yeah, and then it just kind of seamless. That's kind of thing. I always like to loop these, so it's like a never ending thing. So yeah.
Do you have a class on these?
No, I've been asked. Even my team has told me, it's like, you should do something with this. And I was like, we'll see. Maybe one day I'll have it. Oh, and I did this with this as well. So I shot this time lapse over the course of like 8 hours because it goes like day to nighttime. And then again, it's that mirroring effect, and it goes with the music. So there it is. I love how the stars come into each other with like that mirroring effect that you were doing. So very cool stuff. Cool. And then let me plug your Instagram while we're at it. Kristi Odom.
That's me.
We're friends. We've been friends for a while on Instagram.
Ever since I met, you're one of those people that I feel like I know, but I've never actually met in person.
Yeah, exactly. I have family in Colorado, so when I'm there, I'll definitely let you know.
We'll go climbing.
Yeah. Let's climb. So yeah, here they are. Very beautiful stuff. So cool. So yeah, everybody give Kristi Odom a follow. It's at Kristi Odom. There's just so many good things here. It's such a plethora of different things that you photograph, and I love that about your work.
Well, thank you. I've had that hike was insanely hard.
Man, there's a lot of snow going on here.
That was a very challenging hike for me. I'm not used to hiking in the mountains, and then when my friends tell me to go out in like bad conditions, I'm like, I'll do it. And then yeah, I was in bed for like a week after doing that one.
You just never know in the mountains. We do have a question.
Yes.
Helen is asking, Kristi, if you were just starting in photography, what 3 or 4 lenses would you purchase first? Good question.
Wow, that's such a great question. Depends on the type of photography, really. I
Yeah.
do love learning with prime lenses because I feel like zoom lenses a lot of times makes us lazy. It's like you being able to zoom in and out, but really having a fixed lens and being able to, like, one of the lenses I started with was a 35 prime, because being able to, like,
lens.
it's yeah, if
Great starter lens, I agree.
I love that lens. So the 35 prime is like one of the very first lenses I recommend to people. And I also love the 50 prime for like portraits. But at the same time, like for me and my wildlife, if I only had 3 lenses to bring out with me, it would be my 105 macro, my 500 millimeter long lens. I have a 5.6 500 millimeter that I love, and also the 24 to 70. So I had something in between. So that's kind of the main 3 of my kit is the macro and an intermediate and then a super long lens. But that's like when I'm off doing my wildlife work, that's the 3 lenses I kind of can't live without.
Yeah.
But what a great question. I have like so many lenses. Like I love like the 21.8 for any sort of like macro, any sort of star work or anything at night. So that lens is beautiful for that. But I don't know. I'm kind of a gear junkie.
Yeah, I'd say my go-to lens is probably the 16 to 35. I'm just a sucker for wide angle lens, just because the majority of stuff I shoot is just monumentous landscapes. So I like to get just as much as I can in there. And then the 35 millimeter prime, you just can't beat the sharpness on that lens. I really like it. And then when I want to get pretty close, I'll probably use the 24 to 105, which was the starter lens that came with my 5D. I think it could be a little sharper, but it covers so much ground, You could just compose so many different things with that amount of zoom.
What lens are you using for your hyperlapses?
Most of the time it's a 16 to 35.
Oh, and you just keep it fixed at one.
I just keep it fixed at 16 for the most part.
Okay. That's really cool.
But then, when you're shooting like day to night though, like the light is changing a lot. So I had to install this third-party firmware that actually changes the shutter speed. It assesses what the previous photo was and then readjusts to keep it when I expose to the right. So when you have a day to night, it automatically changes the shutter speed. So it keeps up with the exposure, which is very cool. Because otherwise you'd have to stay next to that camera and manually change it, right?
Well, another thing that I recommend for that is if your camera has this function called exposure smoothing. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I set everything static on my Nikon Z7 II. So everything is shutters, the same for every frame, the exposure, the aperture, but the one variable that I leave open is the ISO, because I want the depth of field so I put ISO on auto ISO, and then I go into exposure smoothing on my interval timer shooting settings, and it does that incremental so that you can do the day to night. Have you tried exposure smoothing yet?
I don't know if Canon has that. I shoot Canon, so I shoot with the enemy compared to you. Well, not enemy, but the competitor. So I'm not sure if I have an old camera. I'm still shooting with a 5D Mark III that came out in 2000. Oh gosh, I don't know, like 2011, 13. So it's an older one. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles that new cameras have. So my workaround to get something like that is this third-party firmware. And I tell it what's the slowest shutter speed I want it to go, because I don't want it to go too low, because then it'll obviously mess it up. But the one variable it usually changes is the ISO once it's reached the parameter of the slowest shutter speed. And it obviously doesn't change the aperture, because then that's just going to make your time lapse look weird.
Day to nights are so cool. Like, they're just amazing. Like, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, we are coming up to the tail end of our show. So again, Kristi, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, it's been a really fun 2 days watching you work, seeing your excitement with these crazy, trippy, awesome mushroom time lapses that we've been doing. And it's just been a blast having you on air. So thank you for joining us these past 2 days.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been such an honor. I adore the whole Adobe community, and I appreciate everyone giving me that time for the last couple of days. And I really hope I was able to value that and teach you guys something that you're able to put into your own art. And I would love to see your work. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm very friendly.
It's been very inspirational.
Well, thank you all. So
so you know where to find Kristi. You can find her at Kristi Odom on Instagram. Her website, I think, was linked on here. I think it's in the description too. So feel free to share your work. You got the invitation. Been very good stuff. Stick around though, because right after us, we have Julia Masalska. I see her in the chat. Hi, Julia. It's coming up with her Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge, so don't go anywhere. And then after that, we're going to finish day 2 with Kimmy and Andrew, packaging design for, I believe, a fictional brew, or might be real. But anyways, that was a really fun stream yesterday, so we got a lot more coming up. Don't go anywhere. All right, everybody. I will see you all later. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.